Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful dress. In my previous video, we drafted the upper part, which is the Ankara part. So if you haven't seen the tutorial, it will be linked in the comment section. As you can see, my recreation by the left and the inspiration by the right. So I made mine short. So if this is something you're interested in, please like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get started. Welcome back guys. So from my previous video I drafted a pattern for this dress, so I now use the pattern to cut the Ankara and I'll be using it to cut the lining. Please, if you haven't seen the tutorial of how to draft the pattern, I will link it up here and it will also be pinned in the comment section. So now I removed the pattern paper and it is now time to open up this front. So I went down by 3 inches at this area, but from the video I noticed it was lower than this, so you can make yours 4 or 5, but I used 3 and it was okay for me. So I'll be opening this up just 3 inches downward. I didn't open the lining because I love to open only the fabric when I'm doing this kind of turning. So I'll just place the lining like that, then I will sew. So before we sew, we have to join this side first. So we join this side here. So you join it together to the fabric, then you join the lining also together. So this is the back. You go ahead and make your darts. You make your darts, then you also sew round. So this is the lower part of this dress. You cut your lining, then after cutting the lining you also go ahead and sew, then you turn. So I'll be showing you shortly what it looks like after turning. So this is the front. I went ahead to join the sides together. So I've joined the sides together and I also joined the lining together. So after joining, I want to reshape the armhole. If you watch my previous video, I told you that I'll be using the back to reshape the front. So now I'll be placing the back on it just like this. Make sure everything is equal, then you shape it using your back bodies. So when you are drafting, ensure you draft your back bodies correctly because that is what you'll be using to shape the front. As you can see what it looks like. So the next thing to do is just to turn this up, and the only opening will be at the shoulder area. So I'll turn the neckline, I'll turn the armhole and the side. So the only opening I will have will be at the shoulder area. So after turning, this is what I have, and what I did here for this opening I sew with 1/4 inch for this opening, but for the neckline and other part it was sewn with 1/2 inch. But this opening, so you don't have to sew with 1/2 inch so that the opening will not be wide. A 1/4 inch is okay to sew the opening. So after that you go ahead and cut the excess part there so that you can turn this properly. Then after that you just go ahead and flip, then you iron. So this is the back after doing the dart and also sewing round, and the only opening too at the back is the shoulder area. So this is the front after ironing, and as you can see it looks really neat. So after you are done, the next thing to do is to place this on each other like this, then you join at the shoulder area. You join with 1/2 inch at the shoulder area. So after joining, this is what I have. Then the next thing is to join the lower part of the front and the back to it. So I'll be joining the lower parts of the front and the back, so I'll be showing you shortly. So this is what we have. So this is what I have after turning this. So this is what it looks like. Then I'll just be joining this. I'll be joining the front to it like this, then I will also be joining the back to it. So after joining it, this is what you should have. This is what you should have. So after joining, you go ahead and also join the sides for both sides. You join the sides together with the remaining sewing allowance you have. So after joining and ironing, this is what the Ankara part of this dress looks like. So this is what it looks like. So the next thing is to cut the net. So to calculate the net length for either a short or a long gown, the first thing to do is to note your half length measurement and your short gown or your long gown length. So after that, you deduct your half length from your dress length, that is from your gown length, then whatsoever you have, you now minus 2 from it. So let's assume you are working with a 40 inches gown length, so you take out your half length. So for mine it was 16 inches, so that's remaining 24 inches. Then I took out 2 inches because the net is not starting from the waist area. So that's for the length. So as for the wideness of the net, so for me I use 8 yards. Actually, I bought 4 yards, but I divided it into two since I'm making a short gown. But if you are making a long gown, you will need to buy like 8 yards or more if you want it to be very full. So now after that, you go ahead and make gathers on your net, then you start fixing it on your fabric. So this is what it looks like after fixing the net. So I make gathers, then I fix it round this part. I fix it round just like this, and this is what it looks like. So initially I was thinking I will also fix the lining the way I fixed the net, but later I changed my mind and I decided to fix the lining at the waist area alone. You know, the half length area. So I'm just fixing it round at the waist area, but not at the curvy part where I fixed the net. So I'll be fixing the lining at the waist area. So for your lining, depending on where your gown is stopping at, so you measure from your half length down to the gown length. So this one you don't have to deduct 2 inches from the lining length like we did for the net. So after that, you go ahead and fix it. So after fixing it, the next thing is to close the back seam. Is to close the back. So you'll be holding the net and the lining together just like this for both sides. You make sure they are equal. Then you just join it downward with 1 inch. So after joining this side, you just go ahead and also fix your zip at the same time. So after that, this is what I have. So now you know this gown, it is straight at the edges. If you want to leave your gown like this, it is fine, but the edge of the net will not be straight. It won't be straight. So what I did was to lay your gown flat on a white surface. So I'm laying it down on my bed. Then I will just be arranging this to see where I'll be cutting off. So the guide to my cutting will be this shorter part. As you can see, one part is longer than the other. So the shortest part, that is what I'll be using to cut this. So when you are cutting, make sure you are cutting it correctly and make sure you are not cutting it wrongly. So make sure you check well before you cut. Just take your time to cut and make sure that the cutting is straight so that you don't have a scallop edges at the net area. So you can trim for the first time. What I did was to trim this for the first time, like unfold like this. So I arranged it like this, then I cut those parts out. So the next thing I did was to spread out this net. So after spreading it out, I noticed some parts were not straight, so I just trim it off. Like while spreading it out, I noticed some parts were not straight, so I just trim it off like that. So if you haven't liked this video, if you haven't commented, if you haven't shared, why haven't you done that? Please do that now so that this video can get to the right audience. So after cutting, the gown is ready. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and I will see you in my next video. Bye.